Good evening. The regular meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board is called to order at 6:02 p.m. on December 12th, 2023. This regular business meeting of the Osseo School Board is being conducted in the boardroom of the Educational Service Center. The meeting can be monitored electronically by streaming online from the district website. An archived recording of tonight's meeting will also be available on the district website. Seated in front of you this evening from my left and your right are Director Thomas Brooks, Director Heather Douglas, Director Tanya Simons, myself, Jackie Mosqueda Jones, Director Sarah Mitchell, and Director Tamara Grady is ill tonight, so she couldn't make it. Also present in the boardroom is Superintendent Dr. Kim Heil, our student school board representatives for the 23-24 school year, Mina Beatty for Park Center Senior High, Hafiza Adam for Osseo Senior High, Gotham Barani for Maple Grove Senior High. Reason Adkin was unable to make it, or is she here? Nope, she's unable to make it. And Izzy Ander for the OALC. Some members of the superintendent's cabinet are also in the boardroom. I'd like to note that several flex seating choices that will be part of the new Building a Better Future furniture standard have been placed throughout the guest seating in the boardroom. These chairs will be in classrooms, common areas, and learning spaces at all schools in the district. And we have them here so the public can see what they look like and try them out. The new teacher desk that is part of the new furniture standard is also here in the boardroom for all to see. Those of you who can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Mitchell, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Board members, are there any additions to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Director Simons. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Mitchell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. At this time, I'm so very happy to introduce a student performance, allowing all of us an opportunity to see the great things happening in our district, in our schools. Elizabeth Prim Knudsen and Joseph Kruger are instrumental teachers in many elementary schools in the district, and we'd like to thank them for arranging this music performance for us tonight. Ms. Prim, will you please step up to the podium and introduce our scholars? And quickly, before you do that, board members and Superintendent Heil will move to the chairs in the audience.
So kids, if you would walk around to your spot right now, that would be great, and we'll make room for the board members. So as she said, my name is Mrs. Pim, and I brought with me a selection of our 5th grade students from Birch Grove. We have some viola players and 2 cello players. And of course we have Mr. Kruger from the left over there. And then we have Hadassah, and then Tammy, and then Maya, and Stella, and on cello, we have Campbell and Sierra. And we would like to thank Dr. Salazar for all his great support for us at Birch Grove. It's really a fun school to teach at, and I'm really pleased that we get to have such a strong music program over there. We get to start orchestra in 3rd grade at Birch Grove, so we're different than the rest of the district that way. And it's kind of cool because we can do more than the rest of the district does musically because of that. We're going to play 3 songs for you this evening. The first one is going to be the D major scale, and then we'll play Jingle Bells and French folk song.
can you move them aside? We're gonna take a picture. All of us. We're just gonna move these back. And then we're gonna stand behind you. We're getting a picture. And if your grown-ups came, they can get a picture of you. Oh, yep. There we go.
Sorry, I got mom trained back. Let's go.
Are we good, grown-ups? Okay, all right. Thank you so much. You were fabulous. Okay, board members, we're staying up here. Where are we? Sorry. I just want to say thank you again to our students from Birch Grove and to the instrumental teachers. I know how hard teachers work, and to spend your night with us is a pleasure. All right now, our next agenda item is recognitions. Tonight we are recognizing the Maple Grove Senior High School's boys soccer team for their second place finish at state. We're gonna, board reps, come on up. We need you too. Thank you. You got it? Okay, head coach, Greg Leininger?
Yes.
All right. Will you please introduce the team members who are able to be here tonight?
Yes. Thank you for having us tonight. The Maple Grove Crimson posted a 21-1 record this season and secured the Northwest Suburban Conference Championship for the third year in a row. We also won the Section 5A title for a second year in a row and advanced to the state tournament. We faced the only other undefeated team in the state in the championship at US Bank Stadium. Our second place finish marks an impressive season despite lots of injuries and setbacks along the way. It's not easy to secure titles in a back-to-back years because of the pressure is on us and there's a target on our back. And it's even harder to go undefeated the whole season. We are proud of them for continuing the MGFC legacy and working hard, staying disciplined, showing humility, sportsmanship, and perseverance. I'd like to welcome the team. Beckett Carlson, Owen Bersham, come on in, guys. Ethan Smith, Everett Johnston, our own Gotham Brani, Will Sarkala, Anson Karn, Felix Siafi, Anthony Jarek, Gavin Chabika, Colin Ames, Noah Hughes, Carter Mass, and Vinny Gadagno, as well as our student managers, Danica Brandt, Claire Daniels, Kylie Sandberg, and Jessica Ventura, as well as co-head coach Justin Turner. Thanks again for having us.
Don't go away, team. We need a picture.
You'll be in the back.
Congratulations.
Okay, how do we arrange this?
We're gonna need like 3 rows up front there.
I think the gentleman should probably be in the back.
You're all tall.
The front row can even see them.
catch. Okay, that's why we do this, right?
Yep.
I love it. Our next agenda item is our student school board representatives reports. And Reason is not here, so Mina, will you please share your report?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mina, and I'm the representative for Park Center. As trimester 2 begins and the winter break approaches, students are working hard to continue strong in their classes. Several students have registered for AP exams, which are offered in the spring, and particularly our students in HP high performance classes have been excelling. Many students, including myself, are grateful for the numerous high performance and advanced classes offered at Park Center. Having the opportunity to challenge yourself in rigorous and engaging coursework is helpful to prepare students for future academic paths and allows you to broaden your thinking and academic skills. I am one of the 4 students at my school who participate in the full IB diploma program that Park Center offers, and we are currently working to finish our extended essays, which is a 4,000-word analytical essay. With ample support from our teachers and advisors, they have made the process much smoother overall, and I know the same can be said for them by their students as they continue to teach these high-performance and advanced classes. Furthermore, 2 weeks ago, many of Park Center's teachers were allowed to attend a week-long AVID training. I'm pretty sure they enjoyed that. For Park Center sports, things have been going quite well as well. Our boys basketball team is currently 4-0 as they recently beat the high competition Lakeville North this past weekend. Additionally, our wrestling team took first place this weekend at their Edison tournament. An array of clubs have began recently, such as Art Club, Culinary Club, and Knitting Club. Furthermore, Park Center's Black Student Union is organizing fundraisers to help support its Black History Showcase coming this February. Additionally, they are working on a Spirit Week for Park Center where African American art and cultures can be displayed and students are able to dress up in cultural clothing. Also, our PRISM groups recently took a field trip to Eastman Nature Center and are continuing to work on fun and inclusive activities for Park Center. Some things coming up at Park Center in these next weeks, or week and 2 days, are musical auditions for this year's winter show, Les Mis. It's a French musical about the post-French Revolution. And last but not least, Park Center Student Advisory Committee is hosting our annual Pictures with Santa on December 18th to 19th. Photos can be purchased for $1 and they will be taken in the auditorium with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. I also want to give a shout out to our wonderful principal, Dr. Harris. This is his first year as principal and he's doing such an amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you. It's okay. Izzy, will you please share your report?
Yes. Hi, I'm Izzy, and I'm a senior at the OLC. This week we had Spirit Week. The days are, Monday was Iconic Duo, today was Pajama Day, tomorrow on Wednesday is going to be Student Teacher Swap Day, Thursday is going to be Decades Day, and on Friday is going to be OLC Activity Day. On activity days, we tend to end our school day a little bit early and have a variety of games/activities that students can participate in. Our passing rate has been a record high this year versus the last 5 years. To celebrate, we will have an ice cream social on Friday. We had over 20% of families attend conferences last week. We also have a music class that gives a few scholars a chance to work with one of Tyler the Creator engineers to create and learn more about music. The scholars participating in this class have really enjoyed working with him and learning more about music. Last year, we also received a grant that allows us to be more eco-friendly by allowing us to have the chance to recycle. Also, due to this, we have started composting bins, and we plan to have some sort of garden in the spring. Thank you.
Thank you, Izzy. Hafiza, will you please share your report?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Hafiza, the representative for Osseo Senior High. As we head into the cold, snowy months ahead, students welcome the start of trimester 2 for students, which began on December 4th. For seniors, an important date to keep in mind is December 19th, which is when senior photos and quote is due, which can be found under the Oriole Update group. So for any parents who have seniors, haunt them down for that, trust, because they've been haunting us down in the Schoology group. So with winter break approaching, the class committee presents a Blast into Winter break themed Spirit Week. So yesterday, Monday, was Flannel Day. Tuesday, which is today, was Comfy PJ Day. Wednesday, which is tomorrow, is Summer Vacation Day. Thursday is Blizzard Day, which is wearing either white or blue. Friday is Ugly Sweater Day with a contest during lunch. Next Monday is Dress Your Favorite Holiday, and the final day before winter break, Tuesday, December 20th, is Wear Gold/Silver Day with the theme of Shining into New Year. Winter sports are off to a great start with Osseo Varsity Boys Basketball on a 2-0 streak and Osseo Varsity Girls Basketball on a 3-0 streak. Another announcement is that the ESP teachers, who are teacher assistants at Osseo, were doing a campaign where they collected hand warmers for people in need that ended on Monday, but it was overall successful. With that being said, I wish everyone a restful break and a good start to the upcoming year, and I had to end it with saying, see you all next year.
Thank you, Hafiza. Gautam.
Hello everyone, my name is Gautam Barani and I am a senior representing Maple Grove Senior High. Students at Maple Grove have completed their first week of the second trimester and are excited as we head closer to winter break. Since the last meeting in November, some more of our Crimson activities have begun with the winter season in full swing. Girls varsity hockey have had a strong start to their season, winning 7 of their 8 games so far. Boys varsity hockey have won their past 4 games. Girls basketball is undefeated so far this season, and both boys and girls basketball look forward to exciting matchups tonight as the girls take on Eden Prairie and the boys take on STMA. Also in regards to sports, our school had the opportunity to send a handful of our student athletes to participate in the Minnesota State High School League's statewide leadership conference in St. Paul. They were able to expand their leadership skills and network with athletes from other schools. Model UN had a great conference at McAllister College a few weeks ago, while the fall robotics season has come to an end, paving the way for the winter FRC season, which starts up in the new year. Math team has a meet next Monday, and DECA is diligently preparing for district competition, which is immediately after winter break. Maple Grove also has some exciting fine arts conference to look forward to this week. Choir had a concert yesterday, while jazz band and orchestra both have performances spread across the rest of this week. In addition to that, the Crimson Carolers are sharing the holiday spirit through songs sung both within our school and across the community. I am excited to listen to their mini performance at the front lobby of our school on Friday morning. On a final note, I hope everyone has a nice end to the calendar year, and I'm excited to see you all again in 2024.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for all of them right now. Thank you. All right, you're welcome to stay or you're welcome to go. Not you, Dr. Heil. Our next agenda item is the Truth and Taxation hearing. John Morstead, Executive Director of Finance and Operations, will share the information. At the conclusion of John's presentation, he will call for public comment for anyone wishing to comment about the levy.
Can I go?
No. Good try, though.
It was worth a try. All right, thank you, Chair Buscata Jones, Dr. Heil, and school board members. So this presentation is the annual required Truth and Taxation presentation. I can't think of a better way to complete the trifecta from the musical scholars, the sports team, and Truth and Taxation. They just go naturally together. So we'll roll right into that. There are a lot of mandatory pieces of Truth and Taxation that we have to go through, so I will go as fast as I can, but make sure that we are following the law right down to the letter. So there's some requirements about this meeting. It has to be held between November 25th and December 28th, starting at 6 p.m. or later. Ironically, you can hold this on December 25th. I don't know why, but you can. May be part of a regularly scheduled meeting, must allow the opportunity for public comment, and then we can also adopt the final levy at the same meeting. So we'll be focusing on a presentation of the current year budget and the proposed property tax levy. Tonight's agenda includes background information on school funding, our district's current budget, the proposed levy for taxes payable in 2024, and again, that opportunity for public comment. Minnesota Constitution, Article 13, creates a uniform system of public schools, and with that grants limited taxing authority to those schools. State legislature sets a very specific set of rules that districts must follow regarding the revenue. Maximums are established. The district can levy less, but is not allowed to levy more unless approved by voters in an election. As a result, our funds are very highly regulated. Since 2002, 2003, the state education, general education revenue formula has not kept pace with inflation. For fiscal year 23-24, we received an increase of 4%, or about $275 per pupil. And for 24-25, the next school year, a 2% increase, or $143 per year was approved. The per pupil allowance for fiscal year 24-25 of $7,281 would need to increase by another $1,356, or 18.6%, to have kept pace with inflation since 2002-2003. Here's a visual look at what that gap is, and while we're very appreciative to our legislators for the additional amounts of revenue given to us, still over this time period we are lagging inflation. For Osseo, that difference for the 24-25 school year is a little over $30 million. Another ongoing funding issue is the underfunding of special education. While the state again has provided more than they have in previous years, we are still looking at a statewide deficit of more than $408 million. Because special education is mandated, we are forced to cut other programs or ask our local taxpayers to increase our operating levy to pick up that burden. Our district has actually used both of these strategies in the past to help kind of close that gap. Tax levy is based on many state-determined formulas, plus voter-approved referendums. And an increase in the school taxes does not always correlate to an equal increase in our budget. Schools and cities and counties run on opposite schedules. So the districts run on a July 1 to June 30 fiscal year, where the cities and counties run on a calendar fiscal year. So funds received in 2024 will be part of the 24-25 school year for us, which runs July 1, 24 through June 30 of 25. And that's what the levy that we'll talk about today applies to. Because of the calendar difference, the current year budget is the only information that we have to be able to present to you tonight, but we'll go over that information. Just as you're looking on here, our budget is divided into the list of the following funds there, with the general fund being by far the largest and the one where most of the dollars are spent. A lot of information on this slide, but just for comparison, the gray area, you can see our beginning fund balance starting in July 1 of 22, the revenues and expenses, and then the fund balances that ended June 30 of 23. The area in blue shows our budgeted revenues and expenses for the 23-24 school year and estimated fund balances. So let's look at this a better way. This pie chart shows all the revenue that we receive in each individual fund related to each other. So the general fund makes up 81.2% of all revenue received. If you break the general fund down, here's a look at the areas where the funding comes in. State aid is easily the largest, making up 57.4%. Property taxes make up just over 20% of the revenue we receive. Switching to expenses, and we'll just stay in the general fund. Here's a look at the spending by the main categories. As you'll see, salaries and benefits make up 84.6% of the budget, so 84 cents of every dollar we spend goes to people. Education is a very labor-intensive industry, so we are a people industry, so what we're paying for with almost all of our money is our staff. Here's another view of the general fund if you break it down by the specific programs. So now we're going to take a look at the specifics of the proposed property tax levy. Every owner of taxable property pays property taxes to various taxing jurisdictions. Counties, cities, townships, the mosquito control district, watershed, those things. Anything that fits within where your property is located. Each taxing jurisdiction can set their own tax levy, and it's often based on limits in state law. Counties send bills, collect taxes from property owners, and distribute the funds back to the other taxing jurisdictions. Every property received a proposed property tax statement like this one. It contains proposed property taxes compared to the previous year by each taxing jurisdiction and by voter approved or other for school districts. And it also would state the time and place of this particular meeting, the public meeting that's required. Each school district may levy taxes in over 40 different categories. A maximum levy amount is calculated by the Minnesota Department of Ed for each category. Those are set in state law or driven by voter approval. The property tax process is, key steps in the process are summarized here on the next slide. And all of these steps affect taxes on the parcel of property, but the district only has the ability to have control over one of the 6 steps. And so here's where we are in the list. Today we're at step 5, which is the public hearing with the school board. So approval of the district's levy starts in the summer. MDE, the Department of Ed, sets the preliminary levy limitation report, which outlines the maximum amounts each district can levy, with the exception of any voter-approved measures. Our board approved the preliminary levy on September 26th, and in mid-November, the county mailed out proposed property tax statements to each resident. Today's public hearing on the proposed levy, the board will be asked to act on this levy later in this meeting. The information you receive from the county does not include the results of the election. So that's something that's added, and I'll go through that. Proposed property taxes payable 2024 have increased from 2023 by 16 million, almost 678,000, or 13.35%. Included in that number is just under $8 million increase from the initial proposed levy approved by the school board in September due to the approval of the bond referendum on November 7th. Changes in the levy category and reasons for major increases and decreases are included on the following slides. We're going to see a quick, holy cow, that's a lot of information. So I'm going to go through in a better format each of the major categories for you individually. Our voter-approved operating levy increased by almost 2.4 million. This increase is primarily due to the inflation factor on the levy as it grows with inflation, and also the expected increase in enrollment. So ultimately, we're taking a dollar amount times per pupil, that's what's driving this. Local optional revenue is increasing by almost $1.3 million. This is a per pupil levy that is growing with the anticipated increase in enrollment. This levy starts as an estimate and then is adjusted later to account for our actual final enrollment once we know that information. This is also an equalized levy, which means that as the district's total property value grows, the share of funding provided through the tax levy increases while the state aid portion decreases. The capital projects or technology levy increased by $2.3 million. This levy is calculated by multiplying the authorized 4.702% to the overall district's net tax capacity. This increase is due specifically to the 23% increase in the overall property value of the district this year. Long-term facility maintenance increased in the general fund is mostly the 1.9 million is mostly offset by a decrease in the debt service fund. And we specifically coordinate these two levies to try to maintain as much of a level or close to declining tax rate as possible. Prior year adjustments come in at just under 2.2 million. These are levies that again were based on estimates, and in later years we update to actual and then retroactively make the adjustments and apply either a credit or a charge to the levy. And then finally, debt service is increasing by $7.9 million total due to the planned issuance of voter-approved building bonds for the Build a Better Future facility improvements. The initial bond principal and interest payment is $9.2 million, but the district used our available debt excess to lower that number to 7.9. Districts are required by law to levy 105% of our scheduled principal and interest payments to cover any delinquencies that may come in the tax collection process. While most of the time the taxes come in and we end up having a surplus, that's what becomes debt excess, and then we use that to lower the levy at a later date. Many factors can cause a change in a tax bill for an individual property. Changes in your value of your individual property, changes in total value of all the property within the district, increases and decreases in levy amounts caused by changes in state funding formulas, local needs and costs, voter-approved referendums, and other factors. The simplest way to explain the impact is to imagine a slice of pie with the district's levy is the entire pie. So as the market value of your home increases, the slice of your pie increases with it, or if it decreases, your slice gets a little bit thinner. So here's a simplified example. We'll start with two identical properties. So we got an orange house and a blue house. They're both valued at $100,000 and the district's tax levy is $500. Each of those properties would split that levy at $250 apiece. If the orange house increased in value by 10% to $110,000 and the blue house increased by 25% to $125,000, keeping the levy the same at $500, the orange house would actually see a decrease of $16 to $234, while the blue house would see an increase of that $16 to $266. So again, that's the piece of the pie got a little bigger for blue and a little smaller for orange, and the tax levy adjusted accordingly. So the next few slides, we're going to take a look at a 4-year comparison of property tax values and school taxes. These examples are calculated for property within the city of Osseo. Amounts are for 24 and then just our preliminary estimates. Final amounts could change slightly. And these estimates were prepared by Ellers, our district's municipal financial advisors. The first examples will show no increase on the home value in the past 4 years. And the second set we'll look at are going to show you an average of 27.8% increase in home value in the same 4 years. So you can kind of see what it looks like if it stayed flat and if it was moving with that increase. So first is a chart. Again, we kind of throw a bunch of information at you and then we'll go through it, present it in a little bit better manner, but just to look at the no charges. And we also have a column, and I'll show it here, that shows this is the dollar amount specifically that the referendum by itself cost. So we used $300,000 as an average price in the district. So taxes without a referendum on a $300,000 home are $1,339 plus $83 for the referendum, ending at $1,422, or about an $85 increase. So without the referendum, the tax increases on a $300,000 home were about $2. With, they'll go up to about $85. And again, that's based on no changes in your tax value. So here's a bit of a graphical look at that. So if you're looking at that $300,000 home with no changes, you can see that the actual tax went down, started at $1,336, went down a little bit, kind of came back up, has held pretty level, and then you add that little sliver at the top, that's the new authority. And also put out the same example for a $400,000 house. So where we said $300,000 was an $85 increase, $400,000 is about a $117 increase, with $114 being from the bond referendum. We have the same information with no changes for $1 million commercial property and also $1 million apartment or non-homestead property. As you can see the rates there. So now a little bit more look at reality. Over the last 4 years, estimated change in property value has gone up by 27.8%, so we wanted to take a look at that. So again, starting with that $300,000 home in 2021, they were paying $1,028 in property taxes, and then as the values started to move, that's now moved up to $1,339, and then the $83 for the referendum, as you can kind of see how it shifts. Same thing, the 400, so overall the $300,000 home in this model will take a $152 tax increase, with $83 being the bond, and a $400,000 home would have a $207 tax increase, with $114 again coming from the bond. So that's a lot of numbers about taxes. So how can I get a refund or a deferral on those things? There are options available. The homestead credit refund is available for all homesteaded property. Again, these are things that I would start by saying, speak with your tax advisor. If you wanted to look at, do you qualify for these, or would these be in your best interest? We're not tax advisors, so we would certainly recommend that you do that. But there are 3 opportunities. That homestead credit, a special property tax credit is available if your taxes increased by at least 6% and $100, the equivalent. There's up to 60% refund available. And then there's also a special tax deferral for senior citizen property, where you can maintain kind of consistent fixed taxes, knowing that when you sell your property, the rest of that tax bill will come due in the sale of that property. All right, that was a lot. So the next step includes public comment, and then later tonight, the board will take action on the levy. So I will return it to Chair Mosqueda Jones for public comment about the property tax levy.
At this time, anyone who wants to come speak about this levy may come up to the podium. Calling one more time for anyone that would like to speak on the levy. Hearing none, thank you, John. Our next agenda item is the audience opportunity to address the school board, and I'll review a few of the guidelines. I'm just here to remind everyone that regardless of our point of view on matters before the board, we all have the best interest of our scholars in mind. Speakers will be called to the podium in this order: student, parent, staff, community member, and others. When I call your name, please come to the microphone and state your name, the topic, and whether or not you're a district resident. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Address the entire board. That means we're not addressing an individual board member or the audience verbally or with posters and/or literature. If you have handouts for the board members, you may give them to Sherry or place them on the table over there. We will be listening and not respond back at this time. And then we're expected to have respectful, courteous, professional, and civil interactions. And if it's a personnel concern, it should be directed to individuals in the following order: the building principal, executive director for human resources, assistant superintendent, superintendent, and finally in writing to the school board. So again, addressing a person that works for the district would be directed in that order. Thank you. Our first speaker, I'm sorry, Ms. Tran. I don't have whether you're a parent, student, or community member. Yes, you can come up.
I am Maria Tran. First I want to thank you, the board, superintendent, for the job you have been doing serving the community, the public, and to the audience. I want to introduce myself. I am, right now I am the council member West District for the Brooklyn Park City, and I'm here because of the public interest. Before that, I am also a parent, and I have experience dealing with, negative things. When my son was in the school, he's now grown up. He joined the Air Force. That's why I have time to serve the community. I have a very, quiet story. I came here to Minnesota 2003. My son had 3 years of racial discrimination and harassment and attack in the school, and nothing had been done. And at the end, it ended by a song, and I stood up, I fought for my son. I fight on the way to the education department. And I fight to the juvenile court, and we didn't have lawyers. And I win the case for my son just by my overnight written essay. The judge and the lawyer, defendant lawyer, they don't understand what's going on with the police messy report. So that's why I'm here tonight. I want to address my concern to the board because in our council meeting, there's many residents and activists reach out to us, City of Brooklyn Park, complain that their voice have not been heard by the Osseo School District, their need, their concern. So I'm asking the school, the Osseo School Board to look into it more, positively and actively in the next year, 2024. I
30
One-
seconds remaining.
One more thing, I want to say that school bullying in school is unacceptable and it affects the student tremendously, and it costs, the truancy, it costs many other problems, affect to the academic level. So we should look into it more seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Colette?
My name is Colette Guyett Hempel. I've been a district resident for well over 30 years and my husband for over 40. Good evening, Chairperson and members of the board. I would like to thank Superintendent Heil for meeting with the Brooklyn Park staff later this week. Student success in attendance, test scores, and after-school activities must be a collaborative effort. Brooklyn Park residents, taxpayers, organizations, and foundations are behind the schools and want all students to succeed. Not just the Brooklyn Park, but Maple Grove, Osseo, and Brooklyn Center as well. Case in point, the Lions Club of Brooklyn Park started sponsoring the drum corps and dance line that are now national champions. A family donated $300 worth of chess materials to fill the gaps for students south of 85th that do not have the chess in the community ed program that other schools in the district have. All of the other 10 elementaries in this district have it in the community ed. But in the past 18 months, the strength of the Brooklyn Parks and Rec program has now had kids placing in tournaments, including, yes, one of the third graders to have won the Apple Valley unrated chess tournament in November. That's on CCX News. The Minnesota Chill Foundation, supporting basketball, academics, and leadership, has donated a full computer lab for children and teens at the Zanewood Rec Center. I look forward to the change in next fall's community ed book so that the 9 schools that have been eliminated as far as having any activities listed in that book for 3 years are included. I look forward to the district working with the Parks and Rec Department to make it so that there are a collaborative effort for the costs of the programs
30
to
seconds
make it
remaining.
better. And I also look forward to the sports programs and other activities in Brooklyn Park sponsoring to help with the attendance issues so that kids are attending school. This is not an easy process. The pandemic has made a mess of things, I know, but the kids need to be included, and 3 years of being excluded
Time.
has been a real problem for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no other speakers cards, so we will move to our next agenda item, Superintendent's report. Dr. Heil.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Mosquita Jones and school board members. Here are just a few things that have occurred over the past 2 weeks. Last week, we had 2 separate core planning meetings were held with various stakeholders across the district. The groups represented the Maple Grove Senior High renovation project and the new district school. Input will be gathered from these groups as progress is made at each site. One of the processes will be to visit different school sites in the metro area for ideas. Other facility updates where core planning participation has and will continue to occur have been at Brooklyn Middle Steam School and Northview Middle School. These sites are progressing well, and selection of new furniture for all of our sites are being made. as mentioned by Chair Mosquito Jones. So you have to look at the little bitty one at the bottom over there. I have to admit, the preschool chair looks pretty intimidating to sit on, let alone the thought of ever getting up again from once you have sat in that chair. So, next. A successful first trimester has ended and we're early into our second try. As our students progress in their educational journey, it will be important for us to recognize all of the hard work that is being done by our scholars each day, and to provide them with time to just be kids and just to be young adults. Winter break is quickly approaching, which will provide our students with a well-earned break. We hope this time off will provide time for our families to spend time together and to simply take some time to relax. Sometimes the best time off is simply to do nothing. As always, we thank you parents and guardians for choosing Osseo area schools, allowing us to teach your children. We do recognize that this is a privilege, and we will continue to work towards achievement for all of our babies or scholars and becoming one community for all. Next, a regular part of our superintendent report is to share our points of pride in our district. By sharing our points of pride, we are taking time to recognize and celebrate the most important people of all, the scholars, staff, and community members who are contributing to the accomplishment of our mission, which states, to inspire and prepare each and every scholar with the confidence, courage, and competence to achieve their dreams, contribute to the community, and engage in a lifetime of learning. So I have members of our district cabinet here to assist in sharing some examples from the last few weeks.
In the area of achieving dreams, Memi White, a student at Maple Grove Senior High School, was one of several students highlighted in Maple Grove magazine this fall. White talked with the magazine about her heritage and her experience as a Native American princess representing Osseo area schools at powwows. American Legion Boys State and American Legion Auxiliary Girls State are summer leadership and citizenship programs for high school juniors, which focus on exploring the mechanics of American government and politics. Last summer, 30 students from Maple Grove, Osseo, and Park Center senior high schools attended Boys and Girls State. Boys State took place June 11th through the 17th at St. John's University, and Girls State took place June 11th through the 17th at Bethel University. The students recently gathered at the Osseo Maple Grove American Legion to reflect on their time at the program. On November 29th, community-based vocational assessment and training, or CBVAT students, hosted district and community members at their annual winter sale and open house, the result of months of hard work. Various handcrafted items designed and put together by CBVAT students were for sale, including greeting cards, gift bags, movie kits, car care kits, pet sets, baking sets, and more. What makes a bookmobile more fun than adding a famous mascot to the mix? The Timberwolves Crunch recently spent time with Palmer Lake Elementary School students, taking part in a presentation and hanging around for high fives and hangout time with students during their bookmobile event. In the area of contributing to community, grants from the Maple Grove and Brooklyn Park Lions Clubs helped Northview Middle School Special Education Department obtain a wish list item for their students, a large, light, bright style wall unit that supports learning for the school's visually impaired students. The school's technical education classes helped to build the unit. The wall was recently covered by local media outlets, including the Star Tribune and CCX Media.
In the area of lifelong learning, November was Native American Heritage Month. Osseo area schools celebrates the rich and diverse cultures and histories, as well as the essential contributions of Native people in the over 80 tribal nations represented in Osseo area schools. At Osseo Senior and Park Center Senior High Schools, the American Indian Education Department put together a display case for Native American Heritage Month. Students brought in some of their own items that they felt represented who they were as indigenous people, and some items were brought in to put on display from our Indian Education Cultural Resource Center. Students wrote descriptions of some of the items in an effort to educate their peers and teachers, as well as to dispel myths and stereotypes. At Maple Grove Senior High School, students were visited by Isabella Griffin, who works in the Minnesota Department of Education's Office of Indian Education. Griffin shared about her own educational experiences, how she came to work in the community and potential career paths in the field of Indian education. Rush Creek Elementary School recently hosted a press conference in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Education to share an update about the Minnesota Reading to Ensure Academic Development, or the READ Act. During the press conference, Superintendent Dr. Kim Heil joined Minnesota Department of Education Commissioner Willie Jett and Literacy Director Julie Novak. Teachers Paige Daly from Fernbrook Elementary School and Carmi Mercero from Fair Oaks Elementary School spoke about the impact of the literacy lessons they have seen on students in the classroom. After the press conference, the visitors and media present joined Linda Schwartz' kindergarten classroom to observe students doing a structured literacy lesson. As part of the READ Act, teachers will receive training focused on structured literacy with the goal of having every child reading at or above grade level every year. Students in the skills program at Osseo Senior High School recently went on a community outing to Cub Foods in Brooklyn Park. Students completed a bingo coverall scavenger hunt to locate food items within the store related to the Thanksgiving meal they would be cooking in class on Tuesday and Wednesday. Students also practiced their social skills, asking Cub employees where items may be located in the store. Finally, 2 different groups of students were also responsible for filling a shopping cart with the ingredients for a Thanksgiving celebration at school on Wednesday. A portion of students also participated in a cost comparison activity to learn how to become smart consumers and save money. Fair Oaks Elementary School celebrated Hmong New Year with the school's English language teacher, Mrs. Vang, sharing a presentation on Hmong culture and a group of students teaching others a traditional Hmong dance. Scholars from Weaver Lake, a science, math, and technology school, had a chance to show off what they've learned in their value-added science, engineering, technology, and math curriculum so far this school year at a STEM in Action family event. Students showed off their STEM projects on topics such as the needs of plants and animals, light and sound, plant and animal relationships, the spinning earth, a lake study, and ecosystem restoration.
The Northern Clay Center out of Minneapolis came to Garden City Elementary School to host a clay camp for all of the school's students and families. The cafeteria was packed with amateur sculptors from the event's start to finish, as all ages enjoyed the challenge of turning their ball of clay into their own masterpieces. Garden City funded the family art event through a grant from the District 279 Foundation and grant money from Northern Clay to provide an experiential learning opportunity for its students. In addition to the evening family event, Northern Clay also visited each of the school's classrooms 3 different times this fall to teach the kids about the medium of clay and facilitate a different clay project for each grade level. 4th graders across the district, including in Lois Henn's class at Rush Creek Elementary School, recently had the opportunity to learn about bird watching and make their own birdhouses thanks to a project coordinated by an Osseo area schools graduate. Mason, a 4th grader in Ms. Henn's class, said, "This is my favorite project that we have done all year." 33 district scholars who participate in the Community-Based Vocational Assessment and Training, or CBVAT program, had an opportunity to visit St. Paul's Job Corps campus and to learn about the numerous opportunities the training and education program provides. Job Corps has over 120 locations nationwide, and it provides free career training and education in 10 industries for low-income young adults ages 16 to 24. District students viewed and learned more about training and apprenticeship programs, including culinary arts, office administration, signs and painting, and advanced transportation. In the area of mission-driven employees, Michael Arendt, or Mr. Michael to the students, has worked as a custodian at Basswood Elementary School for 5 years, but the impact he has on students goes far beyond the traditional job requirements. Arendt said, "The kids make it worthwhile coming. They say thank you and we appreciate you, and the staff does too," Arendt said. "I love it. I'm very content here." Learn more about Arendt in the Staff Spotlight on the district website. Birch Grove School for the Arts principal, Dr. Ronald Salazar, was recently recognized with a Distinguished Alumni Award by the University of Minnesota's College of Education and Human Development. The award highlighted Salazar's impact on underrepresented communities through educational leadership that promotes student learning. Dr. Salazar said, "Some people get awards for the work that we do, but as a leader, we facilitate and support people. The work done in a school is the work that everybody does, both licensed and non-licensed staff. I received the award, but the work is being done by everybody."
Osseo Area Schools recently received a Synergy Achievement Award, an annual award presented to districts in recognition of their outstanding success in utilizing the Synergy Student Information System in an innovative way to support their organization's work. The district was selected for this recognition. I found this on the web. Because of the development completed to utilize the student information system to streamline the site-based student risk assessment process. This allows for greater collaboration from a variety of staff members to ensure at-risk students are getting the resources and support needed. Besides being recognized for the great work at the annual EduPoint conference, the district also received a $1,000 technology grant. The team that worked on this project and was recognized for the award included Dave Mordock, Emily Kane, Katie Kimsey, Jay Los, Young Kui Huang, Gerald Edwards, and Anthony Paternos. Garden City Elementary School's counselor, Rachel Lund, recently received the Minnesota Elementary Counselor of the Year Award from the Minnesota School Counselor Association at their annual conference. Lund said, "Being able to listen and problem solve and support people has always been at the core of who I am." In October, Osseo Area Schools Adult Basic Education, or ABE, High Flex Learning Program was recognized by the Minnesota Community Education Association as the recipient of the 2023 Region 3 Community Educator of Excellence Award at the organization's fall conference. This award is presented to outstanding projects that exemplify the concept of community education. The High Flex programming gives students flexibility to attend classes and receive instruction in person or online synchronously through Google Meet. Emily Watts, program coordinator for the district's ABE program, said, "The Osseo Adult Basic Education teaching team has reimagined what instruction and learning are all about. They took their skill, talent, and expertise of in-person instruction, combined it with the pandemic experience of providing online instruction, and developed classroom environments that provide high-quality education experiences, whether students are attending in person or online." Osseo Area Schools recently had 9 of its schools honored at the Minnesota School Counselor Association Conference for being recognized model program schools through the American School Counselor Association, or ASCA. To earn this recognition, schools must implement an ASCA-aligned school counseling program and submit an application, which takes over a year to complete. The 9 schools include Woodland, Oakview, Garden City, and Basswood Elementary Schools, Brooklyn Middle Steam and Northview Middle Schools, and Maple Grove, Osseo, and Park Center Senior High Schools. Thank you to the dedicated work of counseling teams throughout the district.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you to each and every district staff person that works for us each and every day. You are truly appreciated. Throughout the month of December and January, there are many various musical concerts will be held at our schools across the district. So please visit the district website to find out more about upcoming concerts. There will be no school for students starting next Wednesday, December 20th through January 1st for winter break. School will resume on January 2nd. The first magnet school lottery will be, deadline is December 31st. You can learn more about that at district279.org/magnet. Thank you once again for allowing us to teach your child. We wish everyone a wonderful break and a great new year. And that concludes tonight's superintendent's update.
Thank you, Dr. Heil. Our next agenda item is school board reports. Director Brooks, do you have a report?
Do you want to do policy committee?
I've got Deepak doing the policy.
Yeah, I'll do that. So I have one report. RISE committee meets this Thursday, and I believe Sarah's going to get back. Meg?
Yes.
All right. So we did just have policy committee today. Right before this meeting, we did review several 400 and 600 series policies. The policies we looked at were policy 740, electronic signatures, in the 400 series, public and private personnel data, mandated reporting of child neglect or abuse, drug and alcohol testing is policy 416, 418 drug-free workplace, 419 tobacco-free environment, 423 employee-student relationships, and 452 firearm restrictions for employees. We also reviewed 600 series policies. 602 was school calendar, 614 compliance with state tests required for graduation, 626 is educational programs, grading and reporting student achievement. All of the policies that I've listed so far, in addition to 645 charter schools and 647 Pledge of Allegiance, will move forward to a first reading at the next school board meeting in January, the end of January. And then the last one that we probably spent the most amount of time on was policy 652, which is instructional material selection, production, and reevaluation, which is one we've heard a lot about in these meetings. That is the policy that speaks to selection of instructional materials, and then the review or evaluation process that accompanies that, for example, how we review books. So we decided not to move that one forward today, but we'll continue the discussion and continue research around this topic, and hopefully move something forward at the beginning of 2024. So we did want to just speak to the board. This would be a good opportunity for you all to review that policy and provide any input to policy committee members, so that we can have that on the front end of the discussion versus at that first reading, whenever that comes to the board. But that's it for today.
Perfect, thank you. Director Douglas?
I do not have any reports, but just, I guess a point of clarification. How do you guys want to receive, how would we facilitate communicating about that without violating open meeting law?
So we can send the information directly to Amy, just by email.
Just to clarify, you want us to send our communication to Amy,
That's
and then she will
correct.
report to you guys?
That's correct. If you have
Cool.
additional questions, you can always reach out by
Got
phone
it.
for a full conversation or review, but I would just send it directly to Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Director Simons, do you have a report?
Yeah, I do have some reports. And then one additional comment on policy is just that folks know that the community always has the opportunity to provide feedback on policies. Not only, we have the public readings, but there is a link on the website. When you go to, let me bring this up here. When you go to District Info Center, Policies and Procedures, provide feedback on policies. And we have, in our prior policy meetings, we have mentioned and received that information that's submitted through that form as well. Then I do have the District Planning Advisory Council, DPAC. This is, the role of this committee is to provide input to help the district plan and evaluate instructional programs. And it is required by state law that every district have this committee. And I just have to say, having had the opportunity to speak to other school board members across the state, this really is an exceptional committee. with the way that it's facilitated to bring community input in. It truly is open. The participants themselves, I generate the idea list of what they want as the topics, and then they vote and they reduce those down to a set. They study them, they explore them, and then they bring them back. And so ECMA, all of our committees, I just can't say, they're really good. They're really good compared to other districts in the state. So this is one that does actually still need members. And I know Robin's been working hard, so there are, the idea is that we have representatives across the district and from every school in the district. So I know the principals have been working hard to engage families to find representatives. So if you have interest in serving, reach out either online, there's a way to do that, or feel free to talk to your principal too at your school, because we really want everybody represented in this committee with that input. So I'm not going to spill on what topics are that they're reviewing. We'll get that eventually, but it really is fun just to see that process and that true ideation come together. And I know you've all served on, most everyone here has served in some way, but it really is one of the fun ones. Then I do want to speak about District 279 because coming up on February 2nd, the 279 Foundation, which is a mechanism to provide enhanced opportunities in addition to the day-to-day experiences for students. So February 2nd is the District 279 Night Out, and this year's theme is a night out at the Speakeasy. So it is encouraged to wear 1920s attire. You don't have to. But I mean, February, Minnesota, we all want a date night, right? It's the perfect place to go. It's so fun. So I got to sit on a little bit of the planning committee tonight, and it's going to be, I think, probably the best foundation night out ever. So mark your calendars. You can go online now and get tickets. It's located at the Edinburgh in Brooklyn Park, and it's going to be a fantastic night. So get your tickets before they run out right now. Go right now and get them. I think that's all that I wanted to comment on. Thank you.
So Director Simons, when is that night out again?
February 2nd.
It really is a fun time. Okay, Director Mitchell.
Yes, so like Thomas said, I have the ECMAC committee report. We spent about 2 hours just last night, we met, and it was great to have an in-depth question and answer time with all of these 66 upcoming construction projects. 66, yes, that is. And just some of the more details, and like Tanya said, what I appreciate about this, I was in a breakout room, I know, with a community member who has elementary and preschool students, so we want to hear that kind of feedback actually from our stakeholders. That was very encouraging. And upcoming, I just clarified with John and Kay that we will be having some community discussion groups where you will be able to have a voice, and we will be listening so you can help set parameters for boundary changes that wouldn't be happening until more like 2026. Again, those aren't impacting high schools, but impacting the middle schools and elementary schools, and that will likely be later in the fall of next year, but we want you to know that you will have a voice there, so thank you.
Thank you, Director Mitchell. I do not have a report at this time, which is probably the first time in 2 or 3 years. So that's exciting. So there are no more school board reports. The next agenda item is the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes standard business items requiring approval, such as meeting minutes, financial reports, personnel items, and extended educational trips, including one to Costa Rica. I'm a little jealous. Board members, are there any items that you would like to remove for separate consideration? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Director Brooks, because I didn't get you last time. And is there a second? Heather Douglas. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. I forgot, any discussion on that?
No.
Anyways, okay, just checking. Our first action item is the acceptance of the 2023 payable 2024 levy certification. Information will be shared by John Morstead, following by a request for a motion.
Thank you, Chair Mosqueda Jones. We've gone through the truth in taxation and presented a whole lot of information for you. So what I'll put in front of you now is the actual final proposal. This proposal is an exact dollar amount that we need the board to vote on, so we're recommending that the school board approve the 23 payable 2024 levy in the amount of $141,569,733.18.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to accept said levy?
So moved.
Moved by Director Mitchell, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Simons. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Oh,
Thank you,
sorry.
John. Thank you, John, for the
Thank
very
you.
thorough analysis. And we've been, every single meeting, we have some degree of financial review and deep dive. It's a significant portion of what we do. School finance, as John was speaking to, is extremely difficult. It's extremely regulated. And I know early in my school board career, I'm like, well, can't we just reduce it? And I remember going through every single line item and the state formula and what is required from the state for their share and our share. And so it really is quite significant, as John, as you pointed out, as our tax base grows, the state does shift more responsibility to the local district rather than through the state aid. So that is, I just want to reiterate that particular component that you mentioned tonight. So we do, I think, strive to be really prudent in our budgets we put together and in the funding that's requested. And it can be challenging to look at a number like we see tonight, again, voter approved, both on previous referendums that have an inflation component and the most recent one, which really is to significantly drive improvements in our district. So, so as we vote on this, we really appreciate the support of our taxpayers who continue to support our schools at an extremely high level across the district. So thank you for that.
I'm just gonna add to that, as a teacher in another district that does not have the tax base of this district, and I also wanna say thank you for the support for our schools here in Osseo, and thank you, John and your team, for such a clear presentation. Just every single one gets better and clearer and really friendly for, the average person, so, like me. Who doesn't live in finance. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. The next action item is approval of the 2024 legislative platform. John Morstead will again share the information on our legislative platform.
Thank you, Chair Mosqueda Jones. So in the packet and available online is the full legislative priorities. I'm just going to go relatively quickly down the list here. There is more information on the backside of this, or page 2, that just kind of gives some demographic and factual information about the district. But the district's main priorities for this next legislative session have been broken down into 4 categories, starting with providing stable, predictable funding. The priorities are increasing general education formula by an additional 2% for fiscal year 2025, linking all categorical funding to inflationary increases in the general education formula, increasing local optional revenue to $920 per pupil and linking to the basic formula, fully fund the special education cross-subsidy, and provide funding for new programs adopted in 2023, and we listed a few of them here, which is ongoing funding for unemployment insurance, fully fund paid family medical leave, fully fund earned safe and sick time, and fully fund the READ Act. In the category of addressing workforce shortages, expand programs and incentives to attract, develop, and retain teachers of color, reduce special education paperwork requirements, and allow teachers to spend more time in front of students. Remove barriers and provide incentives to address the shortage of teachers, education service professionals, and other staff. In the enhance school safety and support mental health area, increase the Safe Schools funding to support mental health needs for scholars and staff. Expand the allowable uses of long-term facility maintenance funding to include the modification of buildings to enhance safety and security. And clarify language to the use of physical restraints to ensure the safety of students and staff. Finally, in the category of reducing mandates, fully fund all existing and future mandates, and reduce the number of required standardized tests so school districts can offer assessments that more accurately measure growth, proficiency, and college and career readiness.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the 2024 legislative platform?
So moved.
Moved by Director Brooks. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Simons. Is there any discussion?
So we spent a significant amount of time on this at the work session just last week. And so if there's interest for those watching and in the public, that's recorded and available. We had a great update from our district lobbyist, sharing some of the information, not only related to the funding and the funding mechanisms and some of the expirations related to that, but also about some of the other platform priorities on AMSD and MSBA that helped us also inform our legislative platform. So I am really glad to see that we have the clarify language related to the use of physical restraints to ensure the safety of students and staff under our legislative platform for school safety and mental health. Each of the police chiefs that had spoken, Police Chief Bruley, Police Chief Warner, spoke at public comment a couple months ago, and were not able to be here tonight, reiterated their public comments, and Police Chief Shane Mickelson also reiterated the importance of this as well in a conversation with me, so just wanted to share that with the board as well.
Thank you. Yes, and Director Grady cannot be here, but she said that she fully supports this legislative platform, and she obviously doesn't have a vote, but she just wanted everyone to know that. I want to say thank you for the changes that you made, Kay and John, to this legislative platform since our discussion last week. I feel like it definitely addresses all of the concerns that we all have about making sure that our schools are funded and safe and appropriately educate our students. So, thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah, Jackie, I just wanted to add to, I appreciate that the clarifying language is added to this. Like Tanya said, we discussed this at the work session. But to quote Dr. Heil, I love that she is a listening leader, and secondly, that you don't ever want people to wonder the why. And I think why this is so important, just to add to what I shared last month, you know, it's 94% of our students said that they feel more comfortable to thrive in school. It's so foundational to have the SROs in the schools, and so I think that's something hopefully we can come to a lot of agreement on, just how important that is. And the listening leader part, I just think the weight of being in this role, just explaining why we care about our kids. I was able to have a one-on-one talk with an SRO this week, and just to hear from his mouth, I wanted to hear from his perspective, and he shared with me just three quick things. He said the number one reason that they're in the schools is prevention, and that's so important to know that their presence in the halls keeps our students safer, our staff safer. And number two, he told me that it's not talked about often enough, but the role of building the relationship with the students also outside the school is so important. So I think when we really care about our students, I loved hearing that. And third, he said, just like representing a lot of these SROs, he said, I love doing this. And he said, when he goes in to check on the school under just being at the role of an officer, students ask him, Officer blank, are you back in the school? And he said it breaks his heart to have to say, no, not yet. So I just wanted to share that because it's just important that we're listening to what our community stakeholders are saying. So thank you.
All right.
One last comment. So just for the public knowledge, so the purpose of having legislative priorities is to inform the legislators that represent our district on what our priorities are and what we want them to advocate for on behalf of this district. So that's the purpose of this document and why we have it and why we spent significant time discussing it at the work session and ensuring that it reflects good consensus as to our board and what's important for us on behalf of this district.
Thank you. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. The next action item is a resolution relating to general obligation facilities maintenance and refunding bonds. And once again, it is the John Morstead Show. He will share the information.
Thank you, Chair Mosqueda Jones. So again, a thank you to our voters for the privilege to be able to be in front of you. One of the processes of the passage of that vote is we have to ask the board to authorize the sale of bonds. So I'm going to invite up Shelby McQuay, who is the Senior Municipal Advisor and Managing Director with Eller's Public Financial Advisors and our district's financial advisor, and she's going to walk us through the pre-sale report.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Heil, thanks for having me tonight. I'm here also with Beth Downs. She's our newest municipal advisor at Ellers, just taking everything in. So congratulations to you on your successful communication of your plan and your vision for the referendum and getting the voter approval for that. So as you're doing the planning and the community engagement and picking out chairs, we are in the process of, with your staff, of getting you the funds available so that you have the funds available to make the payments on all of the projects and the purchases. So this issue combines some of the regular issuances that you do in terms of your facilities maintenance, your every other year, that is part of your overall project plan, as well as a portion of the school building bonds. So really splitting out a portion of that $223 million of authority that the voters gave you so that we can really match that construction schedule. You do not need the full $223 million up front based on the schedule of your projects over time. So we worked in conjunction with ICS to make sure that we had enough funds available now to get you started on all those projects, and then we'll issue the remainder over the time. So where we're at in the process here is called the pre-sale report, and where you're authorizing the issuance of the bonds. So this pre-sale report, and I'll scroll through as soon as I get to the images here. But overall, the pre-sale report just sets forth where we are in terms of the market assumptions and your responsibilities for issuing tax-exempt debt and putting it out there on the public marketplace. So I have to decide if I'm going to use glasses or not. So we want to make sure that as part of the process, we are meeting the tax-exempt the voter-approved tax impacts that you put forth prior to the election. So that is our major part of putting this out there. So the issuance today combines $100 million of the voter-approved authorization, as well as $138,350,000 of facilities maintenance bonds issues. So a portion voter-approved, a portion board-approved. The term of the entire issue will be approximately 20 years. And we'll go through the process of getting a credit enhancement as part of the rating for your underlying rating with your district. We'll issue the bonds, and you have a special meeting planned for February 6th to actually award the sale of those bonds. So it'll be a competitive bidding process, and we'll see a lot of underwriters look to Osseo school districts for that sale. The pre-sale report also lays out some of your responsibilities as a tax-exempt issuer, and you're doing all of those because you have debt out on the marketplace right now. So I'll just scroll to the sources and uses. So this really lays out the what we're looking at here in terms of the par amount and splitting those up. So 100 million of the voter approved, 138 of the facility maintenance board approved. There is a premium assumed here in the current market conditions. We anticipate that you'll receive more than the face value or the par amount of those, and you'll be able to use that in your construction fund. We really looked to the total amount of the project. So 222,621 was the amount of the project put forth to the voters. So we'll be covering a portion of that, about 103 million for the projects for the school building portion, and the remainder, 139, for the facilities maintenance. And just like John went through in the, and how school finance is laid out, you have authorities for certain types of projects. The voters gave you approval for a certain set, and you have only limited amounts of projects that you can do with your facilities maintenance authority. So those will align into those two pots. Legal and fiscal costs are considered here. You will earn some investment earnings on these, and this is a conservative assumption of these investment earnings, but you will be able to use those earnings towards your project cost as well. So the next two schedules here are pretty detailed in terms of the overall payment over the 20 years and broken out by the two types of issues as well. Then the larger capital plan, but it's best really looked at in terms of this visual. And this lays out overall your existing debt, your facilities maintenance program, which includes pay-as-you-go and future facilities maintenance bonds, as well as the full authority of your school building bonds. So really important to note here that the voters gave you approval to increase their taxes by that $83 on a $300,000 home, and that's where it will remain level over the full term of the entire issuance. So there's several facilities maintenance bonds scheduled here. There's 2 school building bonds scheduled here, and that's all incorporated. So you will not, we are not bringing to you another increase when we issue the second portion. So that's really what that image is meant to portray, and where we are meeting where we indicated to the voters pre-election. So I'm happy to answer any questions on the pre-sale report, on the issuance process overall, or on the resolution that will require a roll call vote.
Any questions? We do appreciate the work that you do for us. You've done some great work in our bonds in the past, so we appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so in order to officially facilitate this, we have to follow the resolution that's in your packet and do a roll call vote to go through that process, so I will turn that to you.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the resolution relating to the $238,350,000 general obligation school building and facilities maintenance series 2024A, stating official intent to proceed with and authorizing the issuance and sale thereof, providing for credit enhancement with respect thereto, and establishing compliance with reimbursement bond regulations under the Internal Revenue Code?
So moved.
All right. Motion by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Again. Second by Director Brooks this time. Is there any discussion? I just want to once again say thank you to the taxpayers. As a teacher, I don't know how to express the difference having even those little stools in the classroom make. It's amazing how it facilitates teaching that I think people who aren't in the classroom quite understand. And then all of the renovations in every single school, I'm really super excited for this. So I'll stop being excited about it. Any other discussion? All right. Roll call vote.
Director Brooks,
Yay.
Director Douglas,
Yay.
Director Simons,
Yay.
Director Mosqueda Jones,
Yay.
Director Mitchell.
Yay.
5-0, the vote passes.
Yay. I'll just my last yay. All together now. Okay. The next action item is the long-term facilities maintenance plan revisions. John, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Would you like to share the information, please?
Sure, they don't have anything to present for this, but I just wanted to go through a little bit of an explanation. So the school board approved our LTFM plan in June, And since then, we've had the opportunity to make some changes to complete additional projects this summer. While the information you have, our revenue plan remains the same as at the time we had already planned in the bonds that you actually just authorized. The expenditure plan, we would like to increase by about $3 million. These additional dollars are available due to increased earnings on our investments. When we get a bond, we invest it until we need to spend it. And therefore, because the interest rates are favorable, we've earned more money than we originally anticipated. And also, as a credit to our facilities team managing all this, we've come in on our existing projects under budget, so we have a little bit of a surplus. So our request is to be able to modify our 10-year LTFM plan to add that $3 million into this next summer's plan so we can execute some additional projects. So with that change comes the requirements of us submitting a new revenue statement, a new 10-year expenditure plan, and a new statement of assurances signed by the superintendent. So today we're asking that the board amend our current LTFM plan.
All right, is there a motion to approve the resolution amending the 10-year long-term facilities maintenance plan for fiscal year 2025?
So moved.
Moved by Director Simons, a second?
Second.
Second by Director Mitchell. Any discussion?
Sorry, can you just clarify where the $3 million is going?
It's really going into just categorical things, you know, small improvements. It's not, I wasn't given a specific list to say it's not $3 million going into one building. It's lots of little upgrades, like where we're going in and doing new flooring in areas where we're just going down our list and saying, okay, what can we move up? So we just go to the next thing down the road and grab them. So it's of a real number of variety pieces. So I don't have a good specific answer for you, but it just helps us move that forward without taking any additional taxpayer dollars.
Okay. Good.
I think that's prudent. Often it helps to not have to start another project that might be related. So that's great. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The chair votes aye. Motion passes 5-0. The final action is our favorite, the gifts to the district. Is there a motion to approve the gifts to the district totaling $64,254.04?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Brooks. Is there any discussion? Once again, thank you. I just want to have note, I noticed on today's list that there were several items that special education can use that were also donated, so I'm not sure that's reflected in the actual amount, but things like special walkers and things like that. So I just want to say thank you for all the donations that we got. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. Our last agenda item is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:41?
So moved.
All right, moved by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Simons. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. And we're adjourned at 7:41.
7:45.
They're laughing at me.